Okay, just making sure we're all set up to go live on YouTube. It's getting set up. All right, great. We are live on YouTube, live on Zoom. So now it is time to get started. Welcome everyone, those tuning in on YouTube. Welcome to the UR College Bound Show, as well as those of you tuning in on Zoom as well. Thank you all for being here for our very first episode of the UR College Bound Show. And if you're attending, I'm hoping that means that you are college bound. For all of our Current Center pre-college students, Upward Bound, Talent Search, all part of the family. And yes, you are college bound. So this show is for you. And for anyone interested, even if you are not a member of our programs or not yet a member of our programs, you're welcome to attend. Anyone interested in learning about college is certainly welcome to attend our program. We're going to try to do this weekly, starting today, and then we will take next week off because it is Good Friday, but then coming back on Friday, April 17th, we plan to do the UR College Bound Show every Friday afternoon from 4 until 5 p.m. and going until the end of June. Now, starting on the 17th, we're going to do a rotation with the content where the content each week will be based on a certain grade level. So Friday, April 17th, we will be focusing on 9th graders. The following week will be 10th graders. And then the week after that will be 11th graders. After that third week of the rotation, we'll go back to the beginning, start over again with the 9th graders. For the 12th graders, sorry, we do not have any specific content for you because you are just about at the end of the college preparation process. By the end of this month or before then, most of you probably will already have decided where you are going to college. But of course, if you need any assistance, contact your Upward Bound or Talent Search academic advisor. So once again, thank you all for attending today. We do want to make this interactive, so there is a Q&A that you can use on Zoom if you have any questions. But please, let's make sure we're being respectful of each other at all times during the show today, just to make it a better show, make it something where we can all learn from it, and hopefully we have a little fun too. But of course, just be respectful of everyone today. If you're attending, we do expect that of you. Some news for our pre-college students. As you probably heard, we are moving all of our services online through the end of the school year because school is closed, but we still want to make sure to provide all of the regular Upward Bound and Talent Search services that we have been providing. So our academic advising, we're doing those meetings online using Zoom, or potentially by phone call, by FaceTime, by text message. You should be able to get in touch with your advisor. They should have already got in touch with you. In addition, we are going to be doing online tutoring. That will be up and running later this month. And we have some other online services we're going to be doing that will include a book club, Level Up Online. There is more to tell you about those later in the show. And in addition to that, we will get Coding Club going again, and that will be online as well. Looks like I have a few hands raised. Let me take a look at the Q&A. Okay, there was someone asking, what class is this? This is our UR College Bound show. It's not a specific class, but it is meant for students in our University of Rochester Kern Center pre-college programs, including Upward Bound and Talent Search. So it's not exactly a class, although it is meant to be educational. So if you're interested in learning something, hopefully you will stay with us today. If you're not here to learn something, you are welcome to go. Now, for the students in our program, you can earn college-bound points for attending today, and there will be incentives that we'll be giving out to the students who earn a high amount of college-bound points. Now, I'll explain to you how we're going to do that. So you should be able to see here that you get 15 college-bound points for attending today. That's for any Upward Bound or Talent Search student. Now, we do want to verify that you've actually been here for the whole time and not just popped in for 2 seconds and then left, because we're not going to give you points if you did not really earn them. So what we're going to do is we're going to have a word of the week that I'll be sharing later in the show, along with this definition. And then at another point later in the show, I'll be sharing the email address of one of our Upward Bound staff members. And then you have to email them the word and the definition. And that's how you get your 15 college bound points for attending today. Just our way of verifying that you did attend. So that is how we will be doing that. Now we had been doing 25 college bound points for our Hot Scholar Saturdays, and you can actually earn 25 college bound points for attending and participating in our UR College Bound show. But there is an additional assignment, nothing too difficult, but an additional assignment that I will be given for that additional 10 points at the end of the show, so you'll find out about that. So 25 college bound points possible for any Upward Bound or Talent Search student participating today. And then we actually have a few ways to earn some bonus points as we go through the show. So I just want to introduce it and explain how it's going to work. I do have our first guest, who I'll be bringing on shortly. Just need to make sure that she's ready to go here. All right, so I'm ready to bring on our first guest today. If you participated in our program, you will probably know who she is. Just getting her to call in here. Yep, you probably see her name there. She is our fearless leader.
Hold on, Auntie Oprah. Yes.
She's just getting off the phone with Oprah, but she is our fearless leader, our assistant director for pre-college programs of the David T. Kern Center. And she is here with us today. That's Kyvaughn Henry. Kyvaughn, how's it going today?
Not bad, not bad. Brady, I must start the way that I always start, okay? When I say college, you say bound. College.
Bound.
College.
Bound.
It's a little different. It's a little different across the screen, but either way, I hope you guys were singing along with me. Yes, I am Kyvaughn. I am the Assistant Director for Pre-College Programs at the David T. Kern Center at the University of Rochester, where we have an Upward Bound program, an Upward Bound Math Science program, and a Talent Search program. It's almost tradition to begin every interaction in that way. But before I continue, Mr. Terry Dade, if you are watching, or when you watch this, he is the superintendent of the Rochester City School District. I hear that occasionally you use that chant as well, but I wanted to remind you, maybe you didn't know, that started here first. Okay, and so every time you use the chant, please throw a little love our way. In fact, I have a challenge for you. Maybe we should connect, we should practice a little bit, but once we are able to reunite again in person, I want the kids, the students, to tell us who does it best. I already know my family's gonna vote for me, but we'll give you an opportunity to flex your vocal muscles as well. But no, thank you all for tuning in today. I hate that this is the way we have to interact with each other, but it is extremely important that we are all staying indoors and practicing social distancing. It is important that we do our part to slow the spread, so that those people who are in our lives who may be a little more vulnerable, we protect them from getting sick. Okay? Now, listen, I just want to remind you, though, that COVID-19 does not get to interfere with every single aspect of our life, right? It does not get to slow our progress and put a halt to all that we've been working so hard on all year. So I'm here to remind you that your TRIO family, myself included, we're still here for you, right? TRIO does not stop. And the promises that we made to all of you, the promise that you will graduate from high school successfully, that you will get into the college of your dreams, and that you will receive all the tools necessary to successfully graduate from college, we will not break that promise to you. So yes, the world is trying to adjust. Schools are closed, businesses are closed, but your advisors here, your Upward Bound family, your Talent Search family, the work that we have been doing does not stop, okay? The You Are College Bound show does not stop. Brady, thank you for having me. I have to get back to Auntie Oprah. You know, you don't keep her hanging, but my family is way more important. And so I'll call her later. And actually, I'll ask her if she's tuning in today. Brady, one more thing before we go. College!
Bones!
Thank you for having me. We'll see you all soon.
All right, great. Thank you, Kyvaughn, for joining us today. And tell your Auntie Oprah that we say hi, that I say hi. Probably everybody says hi, but thank you for joining us here. It's always nice to have your energy and the virtual College Bound. Not quite the same as in person, but you know, we make it work. So next up, it is time for the aforementioned word of the week. So a little reminder that you can earn 15 College Bound points, and this word of the week is the way to earn that. For this week, our word of the week, something very important to know related to going to college. And it is FAFSA. Word of the week is FAFSA. Not FAFSA, but FAFSA. Although the key is knowing what those letters stand for. Now, a lot of people get this mixed up, but very important is that first letter, that first F. Anybody know what that is? The first F stands for free, and that's very important. It's very important to know that this application to get financial aid for college is free. If you go to any website and they're trying to charge you money for it, do not fill it out. It is free. The FAFSA is the free application for federal student aid. Hopefully all of our current high school seniors have already filled it out, probably, or hopefully they filled it out a long time ago. I think they did. But for our juniors who will be going to college in 2021, be ready for this. It actually opens on October 1st, so less than half a year away, less than 6 months away now. That is coming up. So word of the week is FAFSA, free application for federal student aid. Next up today on the You Are College Bound show is we have another special guest today. So I'm going to bring her on. She's another one of our Upward Bound staff members, and she's here to tell you about, well, I'll let her tell you herself. She's here to talk about something new we have coming up for you, and it's Catherine Forney. So I'll just make sure that we can all hear you, Catherine.
All right. Hi, Brady. Can you hear me okay?
Can hear you loud and clear. Take it away.
All right. Hi, everybody. Thanks for joining us today. I'm here to tell you about a new exciting program that we are doing that I feel very passionately about, which is our virtual book club. So I'm going to start a screen share here with a poster that explains to you a little bit about our book club and shows you what our first book will be. We are going to be reading The 57 Bus together. We are going to get copies for students, and we have only 10 copies available. So that means that the first 10 students who commit to reading the book with us I will deliver a book to you through zero contact delivery so that you can read the book alongside us. What you have to commit to is reading the book on a schedule that we determine together, meeting once a week on Wednesdays from 3 to 4 to discuss the book, and just coming for a good time to enjoy. So why should you read this book? Well, I read it first about 2 years ago, and it really opened my eyes and changed my perspective. It's investigative journalism, which means that it's true stories, and it tells the story of two teenagers from very different circles whose lives intersect one day on a bus in Oakland, California. Now, both of these teenagers are parts of groups that are often stereotyped against and may have preconceived notions against them. Their lives intersect and will never be the same. The law gets involved. It brings up questions of how we should be held accountable for our actions, the stereotypes and views we have about each other, and how we can all have a little bit more empathy and kindness to try to understand the people around us. I'm really excited to read this book alongside you guys and to hear your perspectives on it and to learn with you. So if you're interested in joining me for the URUB Virtual Book Club, let me know. You can shoot me a text at 585-355-6968 or an email at Katherine, KATHERINE .Forney, FORNEY @rochester.edu. Again, we're limiting it to 10 spots for this first book club, so make sure you sign up today. Can't wait to join you.
Sounds great. Thank you, Catherine. Now, let me ask you, Catherine, of all those books you have behind you on the wall, how many of those have you read?
It's hard for me to see those exact books behind me, but I'd say about half of them.
All right, well, good luck reading the other half. And like Catherine said, let her know if you're interested in our book club. Sounds great. I'd like to read that book myself. So thank you, Catherine. Sounds great. All right, so next we'll be moving on to the next segment of our show. Let's say goodbye to Catherine, or see you again. See you later, see you again soon. All right, so next up on our show today, not only do we have a word of the week, but we also have a college of the week. Now, this is an additional opportunity, or it provides an additional opportunity to earn some more college-bound points for our Upward Bound and Talent Search students. What you can do is you can complete a virtual tour of the College of the Week, and then just complete a simple college visit notes form so that we know you actually did it, and also so that we can save your notes from the visit or from the tour, so that when you get to applying to colleges, whether that's later this year or farther down the line, you'll have that information saved. So we feel like this could be beneficial for everybody, and each week when we do the show, we're going to pick out a college, hopefully one that you're not too familiar with, hopefully one that most of you had not had the chance to visit in person, but you will be able to get the chance to visit virtually. So our college for the week this week is Tulane University. Tulane University is located in New Orleans, Louisiana, a great city and a great university. A friend of mine actually went there. He's from California, but he went to Tulane University, got his degree in architecture, and now he works in Rochester as an architect. So I thought it was pretty cool, and he told me he really had a great time at Tulane, some of the best years of his life. But if you look on the screen here, you will see some ways you can get some more information about Tulane, their admissions website, their YouTube page where they have some interesting videos, and then it does have the link for the virtual tour. So for our Upward Bound and Talent Search students, if you want to get those 5 college bound points for the virtual tour, there's the website right there. Or if you just search for Tulane virtual tour online, it should not be too difficult to find. Then at the very bottom, you will see the link for our college visit notes form, tinyurl.com/college visit notes. And that is where you will go so you can fill out notes about the virtual tour that you do, and we'll see that. We will give you your 5 college bound points for that, but also save your response so that you can refer to it later on. So it should be a win-win for you. Now, Tulane or for the students at Tulane, community service and connecting with the New Orleans community is a big part. It's an important part of the college experience. So I want to share with you a video today that tells more. Oh, excuse me. Well, there is the College Bound Points form that I referred to. But what I want to share today is a video about Tulane and the community service that students can get involved with there. So take a look and see what you think.
Drop me off to New Orleans.
New Orleans is one of the most culturally rich cities in the world. There are over 70 different neighborhoods, different people, different places. Today, we're going to take you to a few of them. Tulane is located in the heart of Uptown. Audubon Park, the Mississippi River, and world-famous Magazine Street are within walking distance. There's so much to do, and it's only a few minutes away from other parts of town. Tulane plays a big role in the city of New Orleans. It's one of the largest employers in the area, and our students are very active in the community. It's a great way to help and to experience the city. Hey, Akila, where are we going first?
City Park, Mid-City.
City Park is just a couple of miles down Carrollton Avenue from Tulane. Its magnificent moss-covered oak trees are stunning. It's hard to believe that in 2005, these same trees sat in flood water for weeks when the levees broke during Katrina. But thanks to the efforts of volunteers, including Tulane students, City Park has made an incredible comeback. Plus, it's the site of the Museum of Art, the popular Voodoo Fest, and it's only a couple of blocks away from the New Orleans Jazz Fest held each spring. City Park and Mid-City are right next to Lakeview. Lakeview has really made a comeback since Hurricane Katrina, and there are nonprofits still working in the area.
Our organization started as a youth-focused, youth-centered organization, and we believe that the people that help youth the most in their development is teachers. So we buy houses, we fix them up with volunteers, those youth, giving them training, providing them opportunities, but then ultimately we sell those houses at a discount to teachers.
I really enjoy being able to get off campus and experience some of the opportunities that Tulane has to offer to meet other people in the city and work on really meaningful projects.
The lake in Lakeview refers to beautiful Lake Pontchartrain. You'll find Tulane volunteers here too, helping in a lot of ways, from keeping the lake clean to refurbishing the historic lighthouse and museum. You never know who you will run into in New Orleans. Actress Sandra Bullock adopted Warren Easton High School here in Mid-City, and every now and then she makes an appearance. So do Tulane students.
We are making signs for different rooms in our health clinic. We have signs for exam rooms, the dentist's office, and this is the sign for the social worker's office. So we're calling it the chat room.
I actually didn't have any prerequisites for the class, so we have people that have never taken an art class before. We have art majors, we have architecture students, there's neuroscience students, chemistry students, anybody that's interested in sort of creatively addressing health-related issues, certainly fair game. They're going out into the Bywater area, they're going out into the central city, mid-city areas to get a sense of what the actual city looks like, not just the community around Tulane.
A friend of mine recently told me that her siblings actually go to Warren Easton, and I didn't even know that, and they knew about everything that we were doing, and they sound super excited about it. So I think that what I like most about service learning is the lasting impact that we're going to have.
Welcome to world-famous Canal Street. Things are happening here. There's a huge medical complex under construction right now, and Tulane's playing a big role in research, development, and social entrepreneurship. It's just a few blocks from the French Quarter. We have volunteers working there too. Tulane students are mentors for the Roots of Music, a fantastic after-school music program for talented local youth. Look for their marching band in the Mardi Gras parades. New Orleans is surrounded by water. New Orleans East is home to a thriving Vietnamese community, many of whom are fishermen in South Louisiana.
We come out every week to Vela to work with an organization that is multicultural, right, and that is very much involved in processes of empowerment for the youth living here. We do academic support, so one-on-one tutoring with homework, whatever subjects people are working on. We're also collaborating with the youth to write articles for Media NOLA, which is a cultural history wiki.
Go to the website and there's a giant map of New Orleans and you can click on tabs and it'll take you to descriptions of different places. There's absolutely nothing about New Orleans East. It's more rural and it's lower income, and there are a lot of immigrants from Vietnam and Honduras. It's so different. We think that New Orleans East is just as much of an important part of New Orleans as the rest of it that's been documented well.
On the way back to the city, we will pass by the lower 9th Ward, which was entirely wiped out by Katrina. Tulane students have helped in the area from building homes to public health projects to sustainability. There's still a lot of work left to do down here. Next, let's stop in Central City. Central City is located between downtown and uptown. It's a favorite place for second lines and Mardi Gras Indian tribes. Tulane students have left a lasting impression on this area. Students have designed and built 9 homes here as part of its Urban Build program. The Tulane City Center even has an office here.
We like to think of our projects as small projects that have a big impact. So they're incremental changes that give people a sense that it is possible to change their neighborhoods. The learning, if you speak to any of the students, is far more intense.
I get interactions with citizens and local community members that really plays into the design process and also helps me learn more about New Orleans.
So there's your quick tour of New Orleans and where your Tulane public service experience can take you. Enjoy the city.
So there it is, Tulane University. We actually had an Upward Bound talent search trip there 2 years ago, back in February of 2018. Now, all those students who went on that trip are now in college. None of them ended up going to Tulane, but I think most of them had a good experience there. And Tulane has actively contacted us, trying to encourage us to visit, trying to get our students to apply there. Tulane also has some very good scholarships for out-of-state students. Not something that you will find at every out-of-state school. So I hope you will check out the tour, and maybe for some of you, it will be a college you decide to apply to. Next up, we have a very special guest. She is our Upward Bound Alum of the Week. We are going to try to interview an Upward Bound alum every week on the show. So I'm going to bring her on and introduce her. For those of you who went on our Upward Bound summer trip last year, you probably remember that we went to Duke University. Now, our trip to Duke University would not have been possible without this Upward Bound alum who helped us to set it up. She's actually a student there right now, although not for long. That, of course, is because she will be graduating very soon, part of the class of 2020 of Duke University, getting her Bachelor of Arts in Public Policy. And like I said, she's an alumna of our Upward Bound Math Science program, an alumna of Wilson High School, class of 2016, a proud Wilson Wildcat. So I will bring her on right now, just make sure she is all set to join us today. All right, there she is. Just got to make sure we can hear her.
Hi, Brady.
All right, great. I can hear you. Andie, how are you doing today?
I'm good. How are you?
Not bad. Excited to be doing our first episode of the show.
You're
and
doing
of course,
so
excited
well.
to be speaking to you.
Oh, thank you.
Now, actually, first let me ask, with the current public health crisis we're going through, how are you doing with all of that, you and your family?
I'm doing good. I've been keeping myself busy at home. Haven't left the house since I've got here. I'm doing my classes online. I just had a Zoom meeting earlier today. I'm just trying to keep busy, keep things as normal as possible, but it is hard to deal with. But I think as a city, especially in Rochester, we're kind of dealing with it in a pretty good way.
Okay, great. Well, I'm glad to hear that. Glad you're able to manage okay. And I hope the online classes are going well. Now, Duke University, very famous institution, very prestigious institution. After your 4 years being a student there, how would you describe or how would you characterize a student for whom Duke would be a good fit?
I would say Duke would be a good fit for anybody who's looking for one of the best educations you could get and someone who's really confident in their abilities to be a good student and someone who's looking for the best basketball team in the country.
Right. Well, that last part is debatable. I guess we'll never know because the NCAA basketball tournament got canceled. This is actually my Upward Bound shirt, although every other day I wear my Syracuse orange shirt, but we won't get into all that right now. But let's take it back a little bit farther to back when you're at Wilson. Andie, what, now that you're about to graduate college, looking back to when you were a high school student, when you were back at Wilson, what do you wish that you would have known then that you know now, but you did not know when you were younger?
About high school or about college?
It could be either one or it could be both.
I think one thing that I wish I knew while I was still in high school was how important it would have been to reach out to the school and to make relationships with people before I got there. I think when because I did a scholarship program over the summer and that's where I ended up making most of my friends. But a lot of people, especially schools like Duke, they have pre-orientation programs. And I think I kind of underemphasized how important those were and those really have like a lasting effect on your Duke career because you make some of your best friends before you even get on campus. So that's something I wish I knew while I was still in high school. And then I think when it comes to college, I definitely wish I had taken, I think, a little more seriously learning study habits before I started college. So like in high school, I feel like after a while I kind of got comfortable, but I think if I could go back, I think I would try to teach myself better study habits so I wouldn't have to learn them once I was in college.
Sounds like good advice. Building those study habits from when you're in high school, trying to connect earlier with your college, with people at your college. Sounds like great advice. Now, you were also in the IB program at Wilson, as many of our Wilson Upward Bound students are. Thinking back to that IB program, is that something you feel like was helpful as far as preparing you for college?
Yeah, well, somebody asked a question about what I just said. Should I answer it now? Somebody said, what do you mean by study habits? So by study habits, I mean literally like teaching myself to spend maybe a couple hours a day studying one subject or dedicating time and making a schedule about what I should be doing in regards to every class that I'm taking. So for example, once I got to college, I kind of was struck by how difficult it was to adjust to the amount of work that I was doing. And so at Duke, they have this program where you go to the Academic Resource Center and they make a schedule for you. And those schedules will literally tell you every single hour of the day what you should be doing in regards to one of your classes. So say you go Monday through Friday and 2 to 4 p.m. on Mondays, you're studying for your math class. That's on Tuesday. And then on Tuesdays, after all your classes are done from 8 to 9 p.m., you're studying for your class that's the next day. So things like that, I wish I had kind of learned how to be more strict with myself about it and how to do it myself, which eventually I learned how to do it. But I think if I had known that going into the fall of my freshman year, it would have really helped with some of those classes. So I hope that answers the question. And then you said, IB, how did IB prepare me for college? So I would say the thing with IB and AP, when you're going to schools like the extremely selective schools, they usually have a very selective process of accepting your IB and AP credits. So my IB credits didn't transfer as much as I had expected, but I wouldn't say that meant that IB was not as effective. I still would say IB is the best program if you're trying to go to a school like Duke, if you're in RCSD. I learned mostly how to write, and that's most of what you do in college. And then IB also kind of prepares you for the work level and the amount of work that you would be doing in other classes. So if you're thinking about applying to a school like Duke, I would definitely say IB is probably is the thing that prepared me most for Duke.
Great, sounds good. So IB is the #1 recommendation. Sounds like she's recommended AP too for those students who don't have IB at their school. And she did answer a question that was in the Q&A. So please, if you have a question for Andie, go ahead and put it in the Q&A. We have time for maybe 1 or 2 more questions, but I'll ask one more and then we'll see if any of our students have any questions. But my question, I guess, 2 parts. What has been your favorite part about being a college student? And then what has been the most challenging part?
I think my favorite part of being a college student is also my most challenging part. I think it's so fun to go away for school, and be independent and be on my own. And with Duke, I was given that, like, kind of financially, I was very independent. And also I was able to live on my own the past 2 years. So I learned so much about myself, and I learned so much about being a student and what I care about. And I don't think that would have been possible if I had maybe stayed so close to home. But I will say, going away from home and being so independent is so difficult. It's something that you have your ups and downs, and there's some days that you just want to go home, but it's a 12-hour drive. Well, for me, it was a 12-hour drive. So it's it's not like you can go home every weekend. And with that, it's difficult and it's hard, but you kind of learn to value your time that you do have with your family, and with your friends. And then you learn I definitely have learned how to communicate and how to stay involved even when I can't physically be there, which is something that's helping a lot right now. But it's kind of reverse, where I'm home and I'm not being able to see my friends that I made at school. But those are definitely my 2 favorite things. And my favorite thing, and then my challenging thing. But I will say another one of my favorite things of being in college is being around people that are so dedicated to their studies and care so much about their own success. And it really enlightens you, and it teaches you to appreciate where you come from and why you're doing what you want to do. And I think that's something I'm going to miss when I graduate, is being around people that are my age and oriented like me. Thing I was really excited about and being
Sorry, and I lost the connection for a second there. Can you still hear me okay? I can still see you okay. Can you still hear me okay, Andie?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Okay. Sorry, could you just repeat the last 2 sentences, just because the connection went out briefly, and just in case anyone was having the same problem as me, could you just repeat the last couple sentences?
I said, can you hear me?
Yes.
So I said that what did I say? I said that one of my favorite things was being around goal-oriented people, and that that's something I think I'm going to miss once I graduate, is being around people that are my age and want to be just as successful as I want to be.
Got it. Okay, well, I'm just checking the Q&A. seeing if we have anything else for Andie here. Looks like nothing else. And I know I've already gone over the time I'd asked you to come, Andie, but thank you for staying a little bit later. Thank you for coming and joining us today. And really, Andie is an inspiration for us all. And hopefully she inspires you younger students. It's not easy to not only get through that Wilson IB program, but also apply, get admitted to Duke University, and then be able to finish, graduate in 4 years. Very challenging school, but I think we all knew Andie had it in her, and I'm sure she's on to great things after Duke. So Andie, anything else you want to mention before you go today?
I just wanted to say I'm a little disrespected that you guys use Tulane as the college of the week, and I will be watching next week to make sure Duke is one of the colleges of the week. And if anybody has any questions or concerns or just wants to talk to someone who's in college or specifically someone who wants to go to Duke, please reach out to me. I'm on Facebook, and Brady can give you my info if you ever need it. But thank you so much for having me. I miss you guys.
Yeah, thank you, Andie. And of course, we mentioned no disrespect by featuring Tulane. The main reason was because a lot of our students already visited Duke last summer, so we wanted to do a college that they had not yet visited. But yes, certainly if you want to get in touch with Andie to learn more about Duke or talk to her about college or anything, let me know or contact your Upward Bound Talent Search Academic Advisor, and we will get you in touch with her. And then Andie, thank you again for coming, and we'll probably feature Duke at some point, after Syracuse, but we'll probably put Duke on at some point in the future. We'll keep moving through the program here, and I'm sorry we are running a little behind schedule today because we had some technical issues at the start, but we're going to try to finish up around the top of the hour. Now, our next segment today, after the alumna interview, is probably everyone's favorite segment of the day. That is the SAT questions of the week. Of course, this is an academic program, so there's an academic component to the show. We're just going to do a couple practice SAT questions, one math and then one English related. Today it'll be math with no calculator and a writing and language question. Now I would ask that you please try to figure out the question as we're going through it. If you do figure it out in the time limit that I give you, then you can earn an additional 5 bonus College Bound points. I don't want you to just chat it on YouTube because then everyone will see it and they could copy your answer. So if you're listening on YouTube or watching on YouTube also, you can just text the answer to my cell phone number. It's listed right here, 585-729-4181. Or if you are on Zoom, you can send it through the Q&A to me and we'll get it that way. But you can answer either of the questions and get 5 College Bound points. Although if you answer both of them, I don't know if we're going to give you 10, but I'll think about it. So first up, we have a math question. There are 2 math sections on the SAT, one with the calculator, one without the calculator. So this comes from the section where there is no calculator. Now in that section, what you usually have is you will have 25 minutes to do 20 questions. So that breaks down to 1 minute and 15 seconds per question. But I'm actually going to go ahead and give you 2 minutes for this question today. For one reason, because we're on a time delay with YouTube. So I'm going to give you 2 minutes for the question today. And then we'll see if anyone gets the correct answer. So clock is ticking. You can read it off the screen, but I'll go ahead and read it for you as well. Line L is graphed in the XY plane below. You can see it there. The y-intercept is at 0.7. X-intercept is at, looks like somewhere between 4 and 5, 0. And then the question is, if line L is translated up 5 units and right 7 units, then what is the slope of the new line? Choice A is 2/5, B is -3/2, C is -8/9, and D is -11/14. So see if you can figure that one out. No calculator needed for this one, but also when you take the SAT, no calculator would be allowed for this kind of question. Okay, someone just sent me a message with what they thought was the answer. Okay, Jameer, I got your response there. We'll see if you're right. Looks like someone chatted me through Zoom with the answer. Sorry, I'm not familiar with your name, but we will see if you got it right. "20 seconds. All right, somebody sent me a text with what they thought the answer was. 5 seconds. 3, 2, 1. Time is up. Oops. Oh, someone just changed their answer at the last second. They got in just before the clock. All right, so let's see. Let's see what it is. If you chose choice B, you are correct. The slope of a line can be determined by finding the difference in the y-coordinates divided by the difference in the x-coordinates for any 2 points on the line. Rise over run, as we say. Using the points indicated, the slope of line L is -3/2. Translating line L moves all the points on the line the same distance in the same direction, and the image will be a line parallel to L. Therefore, the slope of the image is also -3/2. So if you had choice B, you are correct. I'm not going to go through the names of who got it right just now, but you will receive your College Bound points if you got it correct. It's kind of a trick question because the translation really has nothing to do with it. When you translate a line, the slope stays the same. If you were to rotate it, that could be different. But you translate a line, the slope stays the same. So you really didn't have to do anything with the translation, just figure out the slope. Next, we have a writing and language question. Now, in the writing and language section of the SAT, you have 35 minutes and you have 44 questions. So that breaks down to about 47 seconds per question. But I'm going to go ahead and give you 1.5 minutes for this question here. 1 minute, 30 seconds. I'll go ahead and start the timer now. But basically, with these questions, you have a passage and there will be underlined words or underlined phrases, sentences, and you have to decide if those are written the best way as they have been written, or if you need to change them. So sometimes there's a grammar mistake that needs to be corrected. Sometimes there's not necessarily a mistake, but there's a better way of wording it, a better way of writing it. So that's what you have to figure out. So you can read, I have the paragraph here. It's split into 2 sections just because I took this from a real SAT and it was split onto 2 different pages. So that's why it's split into 2 different sections. But go ahead, text me the answer, chat me the answer if you think you get it. Clock is ticking, right? So if you see the number 1 and then outdo, you have to decide if that is best without a change. That's choice A. Or if you want to change it to B, defeat, C, outperform, or D, outweigh. You have 20 seconds. Five seconds. 3, 2, 1. Time is up. Time is up. If you chose D, You got it right. And you will receive your College Bound points if you chose D. That is the best answer because outweigh is the only choice that appropriately reflects the relationship the sentence sets up between advantages and drawbacks, one of them outweighing the other. Choices A, B, and C are incorrect because each implies a competitive relationship that is inappropriate in this context. So those are your SAT questions of the week. For more SAT practice, which I would suggest you all do, unless you're in 12th grade and you've already taken the SAT and you're done with it, and then sorry to disappoint you, you don't get to take it again. Or you don't have to take it. I guess you could if you really want to. But for the 11th, 10th, and 9th graders, we certainly encourage you to keep practicing for the SAT. 11th graders, you will probably be taking that in June if the test is held then. Currently it is scheduled for June. 10th graders, 9th graders, you got that PSAT in the fall and then the SAT to come in the future. So we do have classes set up on Khan Academy for you all where you can go online and practice for the SAT for free. I have the class codes listed here so you can take a look, and then there's also a link, but you don't need to write down the whole link. You just need to know that code of 8, a combination of 8 letters and numbers. And then you just go on Khan Academy. You can log in. If you don't already have an account, you can just log in using Google. You could even use your school Google account if you want. And then you just go to join a class and add that class code. And then you'll be part of our class. And for every hour you spend on Khan Academy, we will give you 5 College Bound points for that. So get yourself ready for SAT, plus earn some College Bound points. Win-win. So here we are coming toward the end of our show. We do have another segment to get to before we wrap it up, and that is our Ask an Advisor segment, where each week we'll feature a different advisor. And Upward Bound Talent Search students, this is your chance to ask a question to an advisor. Maybe if you have a concern, something you need some advice on, you could ask the question anonymously if you want through the Q&A, or if you're just curious to know something about our advisor, you can ask that as well. So if you're on YouTube, you can put it in the chat there. If you are on Zoom, you could put it in the Q&A. And our advisor of the week for our Ask an Advisor segment today is Marifer Acosta. So I'm going to bring her on here momentarily. Okay, should be just a few seconds. All right, there she is. Let's just make sure we can see her. There she is. I can see her. Hopefully you can all see her. Can we hear you? Can you say something, Marifer?
Hello. How is everyone
doing? Great,
doing?
we can hear you. So Marifer, first let me just ask, how are you doing with the COVID crisis and with social distancing, and how are you doing with all of this and all the adjustments that we've had to make?
Well, I definitely miss the students and miss seeing human beings outside of my roommates. But it has been nice to spend some time at home. I wish I was home, which is New York City, but I'm glad that I'm not there because, you know, I want to stay away from my family in case, you know, just to be safer. My family's doing well also, so it's been okay. It's been okay.
All right, great. So students, if you have any questions, you can put them in the chat on YouTube, or if you can put them in the Q&A on Zoom. But while we're waiting for student questions, Marifer, I mentioned just very briefly at the start of the show that we are going to be doing an online or virtual level up. For those Upward Bound students who were with us last summer, you probably remember our level up groups. But now we just started doing a virtual level up. So Marifer, would you be able to tell us more about the virtual level up and how that's going to work and how students can participate?
Of course. So basically in the last summer, we did level up from the inside out, which we broke up students into the groups of spirit, body, and mind, and just giving them tools and activities to help them improve those areas of their lives. And we don't want to stop that, right? So what we're doing now is trying to have students maintain those skills that we taught them, but also teach them new skills that we ourselves are learning, especially with this working from home or trying to remain academically active from home without very much instruction. So we have days like Workout Wednesdays, where our academic advisor, Gina Ignati, does several exercises and challenges students on our Instagram and our social medias to remain active, to try to do things and remain physical, just so that we don't lose a little bit of a daily routines, because I definitely am not walking as much. The academic advisors for the current centers now want to do this walk thing, and it's like a challenge to count your steps to see how many steps you're taking. And I'm like, I walk from my room to the kitchen, back to my room. Like, I don't really do much. But Gina has definitely been challenging me to stay active. We also have days like Tidy Tuesdays, where we show our workspaces or just areas of the house where we do work. And I don't really have a workspace. That's my fridge because I'm in my kitchen. And I just try to just remain my area where I am working clean, because it helps me focus, and I don't feel like I need to get up and like clean things while I'm doing work. We also have days like FaceTime Fridays, which is not just for iPhone users, it's for anyone. So that like right now me and Brady are communicating, and we're communicating with all the rest of our college bound students, just so that we stay connected and in contact with each other, even though we can't be physically together. So that's just some things to maintain our daily routines, our mental spaces, our physical bodies, just our to remain in good spirits, basically. And we're doing that through social media.
Great. Now, for any of the students who already participated, can I ask, do you have a favorite post or post that you saw that students did that you really liked?
You're asking me?
Yep.
Wait, I'm sorry, I didn't catch
Putting you on the spot, Marika. That's part of the deal.
So I actually, for Music Mondays, our students have been giving in some of the songs that they really enjoy and that have been keeping them upbeat. Also, I saw Kaisha Taylor share some pictures for Throwback Thursday for next week, which we might be posting. We're doing URUB Throwback Thursdays. So I did see some activities, and I hope that students just remember to stay active on the social media and participate, because we definitely are wanting to interact with you guys.
All right, great. Thank you, Marifer. I'm looking at the Q&A and at the chat on YouTube, and it looks like we don't have anything else that I haven't already asked about. And also, we are already a little over time, so we'll wrap up the Ask an Advisor segment of the show today. But thank you for coming on, Marifer, and we'll see you again on the show soon.
Bye, Brady. Bye, guys.
Great, so that's the final segment of our show, Ask an Advisor. For future shows, please think if there are any questions that you have for an advisor as far as any advice you're looking for, although you can just ask that during your regular meeting time with them. But if there's ever anything that you wanted to know about an advisor, something about their experience in college, or other jobs they've worked at, or maybe goals they have, things they do outside of school, hobbies, sport, their interests, this is a good time to ask it, a chance to go a little behind the scenes with some of our advisors. So keep that in mind for future shows. I won't reveal who the next featured advisor will be, but our next show will not be next week. We are taking next week off, but we are coming back on Friday, April 17th. From that point on, as I said earlier, We will be having the show every Friday, or that's our plan, until the end of June, the time when the regular school year would end. Let me just show you one more time how you can get your College Bound points. 15 for attending today. Hopefully you all remember what the word of the week was. I'm not going to say it again now, because if you were here earlier, you would know what it is. So I'm not going to say that again now, but I will say who you send it to do. And to me, today it's just sending it to me, brady.ferguson@rochester.edu. You can email that to me, and that's how we verify your attendance for today. brady.fergusson@rochester.edu. That is how we will verify your attendance today at the UR College Bound show. So as I said, 2 weeks, nothing next week because it's Good Friday, Easter weekend. We'll give you the week off for that one. But in 2 weeks, Friday, April 17th, that will be our next episode of the UR College Bound show. Also, make sure you're paying attention to those remind messages. Make sure you're responding to your academic advisor when they contact you, because we will be rolling out our online tutoring very soon. The online academic advising is already in progress. As Catherine mentioned earlier, the book club will be starting soon. Danielle is going to be doing the coding club. That's also starting soon. And Marifer mentioned the level up. That already started and will be continuing. So lots of ways for you to participate. Lots of ways to earn College Bound points, which will qualify you for incentives, which, well, I'll let you know next episode what those incentives are going to be. So hopefully everyone got that email address so you can get your College Bound points. Now, last but not least, is your assignment. That's right, we got a little bit of work for you to do too. This is a way to earn an additional 10 College Bound points so you can get that full 25 points for attending. So for this week, just want you to do a little bit of writing. Writing is very important for going to college, as Andie told us earlier, and as your Upward Bound Talent Search academic advisors have probably already told you. So we'd like you to write about what you learned during the show today, also what you would like to see on future episodes. I'm certainly open to suggestions. For example, maybe there's information you want to learn about. Maybe there are colleges that you would like to see featured. Maybe you have a suggestion for a segment featuring our students, which we could certainly feature you on the show if it's something that would fit with the show. And finally, I ask you to write about how you will use the current situation, that is living with social distancing and the current public health crisis that we're in right now, how you can use this situation to your benefit. I know it's very difficult for just about all of us, and certainly for some more than others. Certainly our hearts go out to those who are struggling because they're out of work, struggling with food. Certainly to all our students, if you or your family is having any trouble getting food or anything you need, please contact us and we'll do our best to help connect you with the resources that you need. I recognize that it's a difficult time. At the same time, it also presents an opportunity for us to maybe do something new, learn something, grow in a way we haven't before. Right? If we're sitting around all day, maybe we can do some more reading. Maybe there's something we can learn. Maybe we can watch some YouTube videos and learn a new skill we haven't learned before. Maybe it's in time to connect better with members of your family. So we feel like it presents an opportunity as well. And that's also just something I'd like you to think about and write about. So we do want it to have at least 3 paragraphs. I mentioned 3 sections of that essay above, as far as what you learned about the show, what you'd like to see on future episodes, and then something you will do to help improve yourself or grow considering the current situation. Now, these slides are going to be saved for you and for the students who couldn't make it live today, except for that word of the week, because no cheating. But tinyurl.com/URCB-show1, because this is episode 1. So that's URCB, like the UR College Bound show. tinyurl.com/URCB-show1. So that's where you find these slides on there. And as far as assignment, that doesn't have to go to me. It could, but it could go to any academic advisor, any Upward Bound or Talent Search staff member. You can earn those 10 points. And for the students who did not attend live, they could still earn those 10 points as well. So that's it for today. I apologize that we went a little over the time that we planned for. Thank you to all of those who stuck with us. Before we go, I'll just check, see if there's a question. Oh, it looks like we do have a couple questions about the summer, and I figured that would come up. Now, I don't yet have information to share about the summer, so you'll need to tune in to the next episode to find out more about what the Upward Bound Summer Program is going to look like this year. As with the Rochester City School District, there's also uncertainty all over. So I'm not ready to reveal just yet, or I can't really tell you just yet what the plan is for the summer, but make sure to tune in on April 17th, and we will tell you more about what the Upward Bound Summer Program is going to look like this year in 2020. So I'm sorry I can't tell you more specifics on that now, but we will have more information for that and coming fairly soon. So once again, thank you all for tuning in, and I hope to see you next time. And for those of you, for the Monroe students, I'll probably talk to you before then anyways, but for everyone else, hope to see you again soon. Have a good night and have a good weekend.